Hello everyone, welcome back to Bernie Talks Fighting. I'm making this channel 1% better today because I brought on Amy Scully. How's things, Amy?
Let's go. I'm doing great. I'm doing amazing. I'm ready for next week.
Of course, Amy is heading off to the IMAFF'S in Uzbekistan next week. This is a great opportunity. You've obviously won the World Championships before. And where was it at? Albania, am I right in saying?
Yeah,
you won
it was
before?
Albania last year, yeah.
So heading out to Uzbekistan, talk us through what this week looks like for you. Have you any weight cutting to do, anything like that there, or how do you prepare for flying out for such a big event?
So this week is more like I finished my final spars last week. So this week is more just keep moving, keep the body feeling fresh. I don't have a huge amount to cut, like about a kilo. So it's something I'll just water load and then that'll be grand. So thankfully don't need to worry too much about the weight side. Just need to be strict on what I'm eating. And then and then I fly out on Friday. So I have a couple days, I think 2 days before we have to register to kind of go about the place and see what Uzbekistan's like, and then it's down to business.
How many people is going over with you? You're obviously heading over with the rest of the Team Ireland camp then?
Yeah. Just my mom's coming over with me, and she's coming over just to support me. She's been to every single one of my fights. And then we have like a good crew of us from SBG. I think there's about 6 or 7 of us going from SBG HQ. So we have a way bigger crew than last year.
Class, and it's only going to get bigger as well, I'm sure. Kind of give an explanation for people that might listen to the channel and they're not too clued in on the amateur scene. Give an explanation of what the IMAFF'S are and how it entails, because it amazes me that you have to fight so many times within the space of a few days. There's not too many tournaments out there like that.
Yeah, well, it's the highest level in amateur that you can get to, especially in the World Championships. And it's fighting like you'll never have to fight like this when you're a professional or anything. Like it's about, I think, max 5 days in a row of fighting every single day, which is tough. Like you have to weigh in every day and it has to be championship weight. You get no allowances. So for me, that's like 47.6 kilos every day. And hang on, you have to be. So, but it's completely different to any other type of shows. Even the atmosphere, like compared to my fight in Clan Wars, like that was my first show that I ever competed in. And it's like, you don't have that atmosphere there. It's just you and like a couple lads in the corner going, go on, Ireland. That's it. Like, you don't have like a whole crew kind of shouting and stuff like that. It's kind of just very quiet. It's like competition, very like high competition type vibes. Like it's something completely different to anything.
It is, and it is the best place on earth to learn your trade as an amateur, I'm sure. It's like one of them things where last year you brought home the gold. How do you plan to repeat that this year? Are you doing any extra things? Do you think it'll just be the same as last year where you go out and do your thing and take it home, or have you done a wee bit extra?
I think I've always just do the best I can. I mean, I fell short in the Europeans. I lost my first match. So that's obviously something that kind of, is in the back of my mind going into this. Like, you're one that beat me's in this. So I want to go back and, get my revenge type thing. But like, I'm working so hard all the time. So I'm 100% a better fighter than I was last year. So like if last year me had to fight me right now, I'd beat the shit out of her. If I'm being honest, like
nice one.
I've gotten so much better. I went to Thailand and trained there for 2 months. And then I've been working really hard since I've come home, just like training up in SVG, training up in Brew, just improving all aspects of my game. So I think I'm just going to go there, be myself and do what I do best.
You did mention the Europeans there. I just kind of wanted to touch on that. The fact that you got defeated, your opponent was a Polish fighter, obviously. She had a vast amateur experience, so there was no shame there. What kind of lessons did you learn? Because, of course, that was your first defeat at amateur. What kind of lessons did you take away from that?
The main lesson is that, like, there's always a loser at the end of the day. Like, every single fight, even when you look at, like, Max Holloway and Ilya, like, you know what I mean? On the weekend, like, there's loser even at the highest level every night. There's only one person. There's no team that you can kind of blame as well. Like there's only you in the cage, so it's not like football where if someone lets a couple goals in, you can say, oh, like Sarah's after letting the goals in. It wasn't my fault. Like it was completely my fault that I lost. So it's just like it allowed me to reflect and just honestly just made me want to work harder and kind of make myself a better fighter and get better fight IQ in the cage.
It would be great to see you getting to fight her again at the IMAFF'S this time, and I'm sure you would get that one over, so that would be unbelievable to see. Obviously, you're training in SBG under the watchful eye of John Kavanagh. so many killers coming out of that gym, and there has been for so many years. What's it like training in an environment like that? Do you feel it gives you that extra sort of motivation and discipline being around them kind of fighters all the time?
100%. I mean, it makes you forget, like, not like how good you are almost. Like, I'm getting the shit beyond me every day in the gym just because everyone's such high level fighters. Like, the amount of professional fighters and even just highest level amateur fighters. Like, when you see the crew that we're bringing to the Worlds this year, like, we have, you know, I mean, really high level fighters like Keenan McCartan and stuff like that that have fought everywhere. And they're people that I'm training with every day that I get to see. You know, they inspire me. I hopefully inspire them a bit. And like, it's just, everyone has the same goal. And I think when you all have the same goal together, it's very easy to push each other to become the best.
It is, and you can definitely see that you are all doing that. I'm sure it's such a thriving environment training there. I was chatting to Gary Rooney there a couple of weeks ago ahead of his fight in Clan Wars, and he was just talking about how everyone in there, you know, it's such a great environment to be training in. Tell us about how you kind of got started in MMA. I know you started jiu-jitsu first. You're a purple belt before the age of 20. That's an incredible achievement. So kind of talk us through the path leading up till now.
Well, I actually started jiu-jitsu because my mom just threw me into it. My brother was doing MMA up in SVG, and I wasn't good enough at football or hockey. I was getting bullied out of them. So my mom wanted me to stay fit, so she threw me and my little brother into Gracie Baja up in Dundrum, and I started doing jiu-jitsu there, and I fell in love with it because it was the first thing I was actually like not terrible at. So I started training jiu-jitsu, and I think I was about 10 or 11 when I started. I was in about fifth class. And I started competing. My mom just threw me straight into competitions, Dublin Opens. And then within the first year of me doing jiu-jitsu, I went to the Europeans and won that. So just from there, I just started loving the feeling of winning, and I just kept going. Then over COVID, then all the gyms closed. So I started just hitting the bag and stuff at home. And then once gyms opened back up, I was like, you know what, I'm going to give MMA a crack. Hitting the bag was fun. So let's see if we can mix jiu-jitsu and hitting the bag together. And the rest is history. I joined SVG then, and the rest is history.
Do you find now that your striking is still catching up because you're such a high level grappler, especially for your age too, and for the experience that you have? Your grappling is so high level. What kind of things do you do to ensure that that the striking keeps up and it doesn't fall behind, coming from such a kind of grappling heavy background from such an early age?
Well, I just like to get lots of sparring in. Like I know I'm never, like, I'm not a striker, so I know I'm never going to be, you know what I mean, relying 100% on my striking to win a fight. So I like to do a lot of like full MMA sparring where I can use my striking to get my wrestling going and stuff like that. And, you know, just kind of to try and mix them together instead of just trying to get really good at striking by itself, like get really good at boxing by itself. I'm just trying to become the best person to whack you, and then, you know what I mean, do what I need to do to be able to grab your legs, you know. That's kind of, so it's just kind of mixing it together. And that's kind of how I've been keeping it up with each other, because my jiu-jitsu is so good that if I use my striking then to help my jiu-jitsu, then they kind of both benefit.
It's a win-win, isn't it? And I think in this day and age, and someone starting so young, like you are going to be a career MMA athlete, whereas some of the fighters now, they come from very specific backgrounds, whether it's kickboxing or jiu-jitsu, whereas now you're kind of one of the first breed of full MMA from the moment you kind of started or turned 14, 15, 16. You mentioned Thailand there. How was that experience? I was watching your vlogs while you were out there, your daily videos. It looked unbelievable.
Yeah. Oh, it was an amazing experience. It wasn't my first time out there. I've been out a couple of times before, but this is the first time I went out by myself and just like was completely focused on training. So I went up to Fairtex to train there because I knew there was a couple of good weight girls fighting one. And the training was amazing there. It was also just awesome just to kind of have the freedom to go by myself. Like, I'm only 19 and I was traveling across the world to kind of, you know, learn and pursue my dreams. So it was amazing to kind of experience that. And I really enjoyed doing the vlogs as well, because I kind of got to bring people along with me and kind of show the hard work I put in every day.
It was great, and I really, really enjoyed watching them. And it kind of leads on nicely to my next question. A skill that you have outside of fighting is content creation. You are leading the way in this. Your daily videos that you put up, they're very, very good. How did you kind of fall into this? I know you've got the vegan cooking page, but in terms of the MMA specific stuff, your daily videos, how was it you started doing that?
Well, I was kind of just frustrated that, like, you know, I wasn't getting any fights in Ireland. Like, no one kind of, like, people didn't want to match me and stuff like that. And I just felt like I needed to give people a reason to match me, you know. Like, I think nowadays followers are almost currency. So I was like, I need to do something to kind of get people to know who I am. Because if I can't get fights, I need people to know who I am at least, so that you know what I mean, people want to match me, or when I go pro, at least I have kind of background and people supporting me. So I was like, right, I seen this guy like Muay Michael or something online, and he does like day 100 of training Muay Thai in Thailand. So I was like, okay, I'm
Mhm.
just gonna do a day in the life of what I'm up to, just
Uh-huh.
training. So I just started doing day in the life MMA vlogs then, and the first one actually blew up. It got like 400,000 views, and I was like, this is class.
The
Yes,
first one
I'm
as
just gonna
well.
keep. I'm gonna keep doing this. Yeah. So it did really well. So I was like, you know, I'm gonna keep doing this, and I already had a knack for just like doing voiceover and stuff like that from the food page. So I was like, I enjoyed this way more so because this is what I do every day. It doesn't take any
Hmm.
extra time out of my day because it's what I'm doing. So I was like, I'm gonna keep doing the vlogs, and I love making them. And now I have like a little, you know, community behind me that want to see me do well.
It's great. It's great. And I think, like even looking at your Instagram followers, that you've got something like 19K. You've only had a few amateur fights. You're only 19. Like that following is incredible. There's pro athletes out there that aren't even hitting close to that following. There's loads of people that will look up to you and kind of look at what you're doing as inspiration for how do I create not only a brand as a fighter, but create a brand around myself, because it's such a big thing for fighters nowadays. What kind of advice would you give to those people?
But I'd say just be yourself, and I'd recommend everyone to just start making content. I think, you know, even when you see like the likes of Marab and Sean O'Malley and stuff like that, they're all
Yeah,
making
yeah.
skits and stuff like that. That's how they're getting people to start watching them, and that's how they're making all the money. So you have to have people want to see what you're doing and be interested in you. And even if it's haters, like I get so many haters in the comments or even private messages, and they're just funny. Like, you know, if people are hating you, that means you're doing something right. So I just say like get out there. Who cares if you're making a fool of yourself? Like, I couldn't give a shit if people think I'm a joke, you know. Like, I'm just there. I'm going to prove what I can do in the cage. So, and the videos help me then get the eyes on me that I need.
That is a very mature way of looking at it, and especially for such a young age too, because it's very, very easy to get absorbed by the haters. I'm not at that stage yet where I'm getting haters, but I'm sure it will come. But kind of, it can seem quite hard at times to not let it get to you. Have you ever kind of struggled with that side of it, or is it just a matter of
No.
laughing it off
Sure,
all the
there's
time and
some lad
and just
that
doing your thing?
once a month, he'll comment. Like, I don't even think it's the same person, but it's the same GIF every time. And it's like a GIF of, what's his name? Like Schmeagol, you know, like the My Precious guy from Lord of the Rings. Like every time, once a month he'll comment that, and then it's just but he comes back every month, and it's just like some people are just sad. Like it's fun. Like I
uh,
just think it's funny, and like some of the comments, like "Oh, you're a pebble weight" and stuff like that. It's just like I don't know. I don't let it get to me. Even some of the meaner ones, like it's just if they're that sad with themselves that they're like I've never commented a hate comment in my life unless it's on something that's like you know, I mean someone doing something horrible, but that doesn't count as a hate
mhm,
comment. But I
mhm.
just feel like you have to be a certain type of sad to get joy from just saying negative stuff on something that has nothing, has no, you know what I mean, no negative or positive meaning way. I'm just telling you what I do in
Yeah.
my day. And you'd think, you know what I mean? I'm just telling you what I do and you're getting mad. So it seems like more of a them problem than a me problem.
It is, and there's that old saying people never hate down, do they? Or
Yeah.
they always hate up, don't they? So I want to do some quick fire questions with you here.
Yeah.
Um, First one, favorite submission?
Armbar, probably. Yeah.
Armbar all day, nice.
Yeah.
From mount, from guard,
From
where's your
man.
favorite
From
position?
man.
From mount,
Yeah.
nice one. Favorite training partner? This might be a bit hard. This one.
Ooh. Um, Probably Gary because we have the most Gary Rooney because we have the most laughs while training. But yeah.
Gary is Gary is good crack. So as I definitely enjoyed my chat with him. Looking forward to seeing him out there at Clan Wars on Saturday as well. Submission or TKO? I think I already know this answer.
Submission, yeah. Submission.
Submission.
I'd love to get a TKO. That is something, but maybe once I get up to strawweight, I'll have the power. But maybe we'll see next week. But I'd say
You might
submission.
get it next week. Might get it
Exactly.
next week. Dream fight location.
Um, I'd love to fight in the Tree Arena. That'd be amazing.
That'll be a brilliant one.
Yeah.
Favorite Irish fighter to watch?
Richie Smullen, definitely. If you saw his
Oh,
fight
nice
last
one.
week,
Nice one.
29-second guillotine, like was nuts. Like didn't even have time to worry or do anything.
Uh,
He's an animal.
nice one. Nice one. Pre-fight superstitions or rituals? Have you got any of them?
Um, don't think I really do. I just like to have oats for breakfast. And I don't like to eat close to my fight. Like I like to have about 5 or 6 hours, of nothing in my stomach. I just like to have an empty stomach and that's it.
Do you still kind of get nervous for fights, or like, because you've done it so many times now, you've done it at the IMMAF, you obviously done it on Clan Wars, you know the procedure leading up to it. Do you still get nervous for it, or do you still kind of doubt your preparation sometimes, or is it just second nature to you now?
I think like there's nothing, you're never not gonna get nervous when you're about to step into in a cage and fight someone. But I'd like to say coming up to the fights, I don't get nervous. Like I used to be nervous like a month counting down the days. Oh, like every night, it's like nervous. But now it's like not like even coming up to the weigh-ins, don't get nervous. It's only like maybe a couple hours. For the IMAFs, a couple, you don't even know when you're fighting until maybe 30 minutes before. So it's those 30 minutes where you're like, oh, I have my gear on. Then it's like, it's not nerves, it's more like anticipation or something like that. It's just, you can feel all the adrenaline kind of starting to build up.
Is there an advantage to that, the fact that you don't know who you're fighting until half an hour before? Like, let's compare it to your Clan Wars fight night, for example. You maybe knew your opponent, I don't know, a few weeks out at least. So you're kind of maybe looking up their Instagram, you're checking how they've done in competition before and stuff, and that there can all build up with the pressure as well. Do you think there is a bit of an advantage in the fact that you don't know who you're getting in there with until half an hour before?
Really tired, to be honest. Like I, even with your one from Clan Wars, I never really looked into her. Like, Richie looked into her a bit for me and stuff like that, like my coach will. But even for all these, like the only one that I know is your one from Poland because I fought her before. But the rest of them, like I just kind of know one or two things about them, like just what they've done, like Pan Am champion, whatever, Asia champion. But like that stuff doesn't really matter because at the end of the day, I just know I'm going to be better everywhere. So I'm just going to have confidence in myself that even if they're a great striker, well, I'll get them to the ground. And if they're a great grappler, then my jiu-jitsu should be better, That's just the way I kind of like to think about it. So I try not to get too caught up in my head watching highlight reels or something like that.
That's a great mindset they have. I want to finish on something a wee bit deeper. I know it's hard to look by the IMAFs this weekend because that's what your focus is on, but I want you to envision maybe 3 to 5 years from now. How far do you think you can go in this sport?
I think I'm going to get to the UFC 100%. Like that's the dream. I'm
goal?
going to get there. Yeah. UFC champ. They don't have an atomweight division, so I'm going to have to put on a couple of kilos, but if you give me a couple of years, I'll get big. Like I'm finished with atomweight after this. Like my next fight's 3 weeks later on EFC and at strawweight. So that'll be my first kind of go at strawweight. And then I'm going to try then get big enough to be like professional level strawweight, like 57, 58 kg. And then, to cut down. But that's the dream, like get to the UFC. It's everyone's dream. I think it's the top of the sport. So I think I have the determination to make it 100%.
Definitely. And if your career keeps going in the trajectory that it started on, there's definitely big things coming for you. Amy, thank you very much for coming on. I don't want to take up too much of your time because I know you're flying off. Good luck next week in Uzbekistan. I'm sure you'll bring the gold home again.
I will, 100%. It's going to happen.
And keep leading the way with the content. I'm really, really enjoying the daily videos. So I look forward to seeing your updates from when you're out there. Thank you very much.
Thanks so much.